Hello and welcome to Powit Toys. As ever, I am your host Crazy, and today we are doing a comparison between Masters of the Universe Classics He-Man and the reissue of the same figure. And if we have a little extra time, we'll take a look at the He-Man repaint Faker.
Action figures.
In December of 2008, the first two Masters of the Universe Classics figures went on sale at MattyCollector.com, He-Man and Beastman. I did a review of both of them, and I'll include a link to that in the show notes. You can check that out later. 1 year later, this line has blossomed into what I would consider to be one of the best toy lines out right now, albeit one of the more expensive lines as well. After a full year of releases, we've finally come full circle to the re-release of He-Man. The original He-Man stayed on sale for 6 weeks on MattyCollector.com, but that was really before word got out about how great these figures were. Since he was one of the first two figures released, a lot of people were waiting for reviews to see if this line was really worth investing in. 1 year later, now that demand has increased steadily and people really know what a great line this is, the re-release sold out in a matter of hours. 3 actually. Now there are some subtle differences between the re-release of the figure and the original release of the figure. As far as the packaging, you can see the reissue has a little starburst on the front saying the original. All the second run reissues will feature this starburst on the packaging. On the back, the new figure also has the tagget, which was missing from the original release. And the tagget is the little piece of plastic that folds up so you can hang the carded figure from a peg. Another difference is that the bios on the bottom of the back of the figure are slightly different in size, spacing, and a couple words are different as well. Not only that, but at the very, very bottom in tiny print, on the original it says each sold separately, subject to availability. While on the reissue it says each sold separately, subject to availability. Some figures may no longer be available. I thought this was an interesting difference since a number of the cross sells are no longer available. So that's a good, easy way to tell the difference between the two packaging if you are looking at the back. And if the front, you can obviously tell by the starburst. As for the figures, the re-release here features more of a matte paint, while the original is a much glossier paint. You can kind of see the gloss in this area here, whereas there's just no gloss at all on the reissue. The original featured some red eyeliner that a lot of people complained about. The reissue has remedied this. One of the major issues with the original figure was that he had swapped shoulders. That is to say, the right shoulder was placed in the left socket and the left shoulder was placed in the right socket. This has been corrected in the new release, but I have to say this was something I did not pick up on my original figure. Never noticed it until someone complained about it online. This figure is the original. This is the re-release. You can tell by the slightly glossier paint that this is the original. Now, you can see that the detail on the shoulder kind of points back, curves backward like that, whereas the detail on the shoulder in the re-release points forward on the figure, and that's about all there is to it. It was never something I ever noticed, and it probably wouldn't have been something I would ever notice had someone not pointed it out. The final difference is a softer loincloth to allow better movement and prevent issues when mounted on BattleCat. And I will say it's not even that much softer. All they did was hollow out the inside of the briefs, the loincloth. Let me zoom in so you can get a good shot of it. Here is the original loincloth. Here is the hollowed out re-release loincloth, allowing a slightly better degree of movement for the legs. The only disappointing part of this He-Man re-released figure is in fact the right ankle is incredibly loose. You can see that I can just freely move it about with no sort of ratcheting or anything like that, and it makes it difficult to stand the figure in anything other than a straight-legged pose. If you bend the knee at all, He-Man's pretty much going to fall over. On the original figure, you can see here, the ankle was much tighter and also ratcheted in a couple of spots, like right there. The re-release is just loose. The left ankle is significantly better and does not have the same problem as the right, but the right is just loose. While we're talking about the He-Man figure, it would only be appropriate to talk about the only straight He-Man repaint. Faker. Faker went on sale in March of 2009 to fill in for the delayed Merman, originally only supposed to be the New York Comic Con 2009 exclusive. Faker's production number got a small boost when it was realized that Merman would not be ready in time. Due to the limited run and availability, Faker is one of the more scarce figures in the series, having sold out in a mere 3 hours, very early in the line. Faker's skin color is close, but not an exact match to that of Skeletor. There's a nice paint wash on the repainted Skeletor armor to keep the bright orange from being too overwhelming. Also, the metal gauntlets and waistband have a really nice paint application that really does them justice and makes it have kind of a metallic feel. Compared to the regular He-Man figures, he features the corrected shoulders, pointing in the correct direction, no red eyeliner, and the stiffer, non-hollowed out loincloth. The original Faker had a sticker on his chest to show some robot attributes. Now, Mattel's original intention was to have that sticker on this figure, but somewhere along the way they decided it would be better to do a tampoed decal instead. If I take off Faker's armor, you can get a better look at the decal. And to do that, you just need to pop off these two straps from the two pegs on the back, just like that, and flip it up. And you can get an idea of the sticker, the tampographed decal underneath. I'll show you a still image that looks much better. I think the tampographed decals look vastly superior to regular stickers. It's just a lot more professional looking. Faker only comes with his sword, his removable armor, and an orange half of the power sword, which of course can be combined with another half that comes with He-Man or Skeletor to form a bizarre half orange, half silver sword. Or Skeletor, you could do a half orange, half blue power sword and just be different. Unfortunately, he does not come with He-Man's axe or shield. Often I get the question, what's up with Faker? Why is he blue? I mean, he's not much of a faker if he's not even the right colors. Well, in his sole appearance in the original cartoon, in the episode called The Shaping Staff, Faker was an evil clone of He-Man created by Skeletor. Contrary to the original figure, he looked exactly like He-Man, except for some glowing eyes and a slightly deeper voice.
I will make another He-Man, an evil one called Faker. I have done it! A perfect likeness of He-Man. Sometimes my power even amazes me.
The Masters of the Universe Classics figure featured a different bio, claiming that Faker was actually a robot built by Man-at-Arms to cover for He-Man when Prince Adam was needed. Appropriately, in the very next episode after Faker's sole appearance, titled The Disappearing Act, Man-at-Arms was in fact building a robot to cover for He-Man when Prince Adam was kidnapped by Skeletor. And I'll include the bio in the show notes so you can see how the robot ended up in Skeletor's hands.
This thing is actually starting to look like He-Man. Let's see if this robot works. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Oddly, though, it offered no explanations or reasons why to explain why his colors are different than He-Man and why he's blue with orange armor. I actually think the original release of He-Man, this guy, with his red eyeliner, make a pretty good faker from the original cartoon, while the blue faker, actual faker figure, fills in as a pretty good faker after he's been exposed as an imposter. But that's just me with my wandering imagination. While the re-release only featured a few small changes, I think the changes combined to make a superior figure over the original release, unfortunately with the exception of that one ankle. I think Faker is a fun addition to the line, with many of the fixes in place featured on the reissue of He-Man. It is my hope that Mattel will reissue Faker with some additional accessories like the shield and axe, and maybe with some tweaked colors so you can differentiate it from the original release, but so fans can still get the opportunity to own this rare figure. Remember that these figures are only available on MattyCollector.com. And please be sure to check out the show notes where you can check out the character bios along with Faker's hilarious appearance on Adult Swim's Robot Chicken. Be sure to check out Powit TV for all the latest news in science, magic, mystery, and more. And remember, kids, let your imaginations wander. Open your toys.
I will make another He-Man, an evil one called Faker. I have done it! A perfect likeness of He-Man. Sometimes my power even amazes me.
You forget, He-Man. I have your power too.
Let's
see how well you can use that power.
It's just a robot of He-Man.
My Havoc staff will take care of you.
My sword can deflect magical bolts, Skeletor. Or didn't you know that?
Curse you all, I'll be back to have vengeance. So swears Skeletor.